Hi there, this is Jenny Walker from DigiGoods and Printables ELA. Welcome to Argumentative Essay Writing, Segment 7, Counterclaim and Rebuttal, or as some people call it, Counterargument. If you found this video from my YouTube channel, you can find a link to the workshop in the description. Okay, first, let's talk for just a minute about where the counterclaim goes. Some people place the counterclaim in the introductory paragraph, while others dedicate a whole paragraph to the counterclaim. Depending on what your teacher decides, you may be asked to place your counterclaim within the introductory paragraph, or you might be asked to write a counterclaim paragraph that stands on its own. In this video, I will teach both methods, but you only need to listen to the method that applies to you. You may or may not see slides for the other method in your workshop. First of all, what is a counterclaim or counterargument and rebuttal? Counterclaim or counterargument is the part of your essay where the main opposing claim, in other words, the thing that your opponent says is true, is acknowledged by you and then discredited or disproven. To discredit a claim, you write a rebuttal, which is where you make a statement or two about why the opposing claim is wrong. It might seem strange to point out the opposite of what you're trying to say in your paper, but it's actually very important. Okay, so why is it important to bring up what the opponent is saying and then tell your audience why what they are saying is wrong? First of all, it allows you to discredit the opposing viewpoint that the audience was probably already thinking about anyway. It shows that you are well educated on your topic. It shows that you have researched both sides and you stand by your side of the claim. People don't really listen to people who are one-sided or biased. So by bringing up your opponent's claim and refuting it, it shows that you're not biased, that you've done your work in researching on both sides. Also, it makes your argument seem more valid. Well, I already said this, but it shows that you understand both sides and still stand behind your claim. Scroll down to the next slide for a few more tips about counterclaim. As mentioned, counterclaim may also be referred to as a counterargument. The word refute is the act of rebutting, and this means to oppose. So a refuting fact is proof that the opponent is the proof that the opponent will use in their argument and their claim. Some people believe it's necessary to include it in the counterclaim. Others leave it out. But below you'll see an example of it, and you'll just follow your teacher's guidelines on whether or not you are asked to put in a refuting claim. Scroll down to the next slide and pause this video long enough to watch this awesome video to learn about counterargument and rebuttal and why they are so important. I promise you'll enjoy it. Okay, now that you've watched the great video and you have a lot of background knowledge about your counterclaim, let's look at an example of a brief counterclaim and rebuttal, color-coded. Notice the counterclaim is in purple. The refuting fact, which you may or may not be asked to put in your counterclaim, is in green. The transition, which we will discuss next, is purple. And the rebuttal is yellow. All right, some believe that students should attend school all year long. They say that a learning gap occurs over the summer months and students lose information they had gained during the year. While there may be a smidgen of truth to this belief, a far greater concern is that year-round school causes students to miss valuable family and social interactions. So you see, in my essay, you can tell that I am arguing against all-year school. I bring up the opponent's claim. I give the refuting fact. This is the fact that they would use and are going to use to try to prove that their argument is true. I go ahead and just bring it up. And then I rebut it. I tell why it's wrong or illogical or incorrect. Another reason to include a counterclaim in your argument is because people's brains are primed to accept the information that they get first. So if they hear first from you what the opponent is going to say, and you go ahead and dispute that immediately, you're more likely to convince them of your argument. And let's go back to this transition in purple. While there may be a smidgen of truth to this belief, this is a very important phrase in this sentence. Let's scroll down and talk about why transitions are important. A transition is a word or phrase that bridges ideas to create smooth flow between sentences. They prime the reader's brain for what they are about to read. For example, if I read this transition, while this may be true, or however, my brain immediately knows that I am about to read opposing information. This makes me comprehend more quickly, and it makes your writing more clear and easy to read. And that is the goal of a good writer. You want your writing to be easy to read and easy to understand. And transitions definitely help you accomplish that. A great place for a transition or transitional phrase is right after you've given your opponent's claim and right before you refute it. This helps the reader connect the ideas that you are presenting. Think of them as bridges from one idea to the next. Without them, the reader has to stop and think about what they are reading because it won't flow well. Here are some popular transitions, but there are plenty more. However, while this may be true, on the contrary, after all, though, on the other hand, otherwise, nevertheless, yet, and but. These transitions are all very popularly used when you are refuting a claim because you are giving opposite information. Let's look at this example of a rebuttal with a transition in the middle of it. Listen when I read this. Some people firmly believe that ghosts are real. They claim that noises recorded in empty rooms prove this. While this may be true, there is no evidence to support this idea. Okay, so this transition bridged the idea of what the opponent is saying to your idea that it's not true, to your opposite information. Now read the example without the transition. Listen when I read. Just close your eyes and listen to how this sounds. Some people firmly believe that ghosts are real. They claim that noises recorded in empty rooms prove this. There is no evidence to support this. Wow, did you hear how different that sounded without the transition? It's confusing. It makes the reader think that I'm contradicting myself as a writer, like the writer is contradicting herself. It doesn't make sense. So the reader has to stop and try to figure out how this information relates to this information. Here we're saying ghosts are real, and here we're saying there's no evidence to support that. Without this transition, my brain doesn't know that this is opposite information. This is why we use transitions. So you can steal these transitions when you're writing. Feel free to use them. These are here for you to come back and look at any time as you're writing and borrow them for your own, or you may have transitions that you like better. Now it's your turn. Now that you've learned about counterclaims, you've seen examples and watched videos, it's time to write your own counterclaim. On this slide, this is the slide down. You're going to construct your counterclaim in the box. This will be part of your introductory paragraph if your teacher instructs you to create a counterclaim within the introductory paragraph. So you'll follow the guidelines along the side as you are writing your paragraph. And notice that there's a gold star. This gold star indicates that later, when you're putting your full essay together, you can come back and copy and paste the work that you've already done to add to your paragraph, to add to your essay. On the slide below If your teacher has instructed you that you're going to write a counterclaim using a paragraph by itself, this is called the paragraph method. You'll use this slide to help guide your instruction of how to construct a counterclaim. You may not see this slide, or you may not see this slide in your presentation, depending on which your teacher chooses. Okay, so what is included in a counter-argument paragraph? The counter-argument is a little more intensive. It has a little more information than if you were just adding your counterclaim into your introductory. You must do more than simply identify the opposing position. When writing your counter paragraph, you should respond to that other position in your paragraph. You will identify the opposing argument, respond to it by discussing the reasons the argument is incomplete, weak, unsound, or illogical. You will provide examples or evidence to show why the opposing argument is unsound, or provide explanations of how the opposing argument is incomplete or illogical. And you'll close by stating your argument and why your counter argument is stronger than the identified counter argument. You can click here to see an example. Just move this over. So you'll open up this link and you can see a whole paragraph written by a student that teaches you how that it's a sample of a counter argument, along with annotations that tell what each of these parts are. After you have read the sample essay, you can click to the next slide to construct your own counter argument paragraph. Once again, notice there's a gold star. This star will help you easily find this piece so that when you're ready to put your full essay together, you'll be able to easily come back, find it, copy, and paste it into your full essay. And that concludes this segment of argumentative essay writing. I will see you in the next video where we will be putting all of the pieces of your argumentative introductory topic or introductory paragraph together in a paragraph. Again, if you found this video on YouTube, you can find the link to the workshop in the descriptions. And teachers, don't forget to connect with me on social media, where you can also find a link in the description where we will discuss all things digital learning. Happy teaching and happy learning, and we'll see you in the next video.